Rajiv, Sachin, Neha for taking time to join us this morning. HOCAT is, like I was discussing, is a first initiative from us. We've been into more in the restaurant side of things, independent restaurant side of things. But the idea is to have this panel discuss the business of restaurants and F&B within the hotel space. So my first question is, how has it changed over the last 3 to 5 years in terms of F&B coming as one of the profit verticals or profit levers for you? So from a broader industry standpoint, you want to, Neha, give us a sense as to what changes you've seen in the last 18, 24
I think
months?
What has happened over the last few years, and it was always there, it's just that we've adopted a little later maybe, that everything has become experience driven. A lot of the reason why we choose a particular hotel is A, for convenience, for where they want to be, but a lot to do with the experiences that we do. What are the experiences that you have for the family, what do you have for an individual, what do you have for a business? So it could be an experience driven. A lot of the trend and what Raji spoke about is towards sustainability. So that is something which is very consciously coming up. Another thing which I think all of us are taking it with open hands, and I'm a great supporter of it, is AI and tech driven, how it can make our life easy, not make it robotic. And I keep seeing robo kids there. So, but it's not robotic, but how it can make life easy. For a long time, we have said that restaurants are very manpower heavy. They are very cost heavy. Sure, they are. But when blended beautifully with the kind of hotels that we are coming up with, and monetize areas, and Sachin spoke about the fact that how they've been able to take out spaces from their existing hotel to create the kind of avenues which are going to be revenue centers, is a fantastic focus on what we're looking at, total revenue as square feet area that we want from our particular asset. So it's no longer rooms. It needs to be a plethora of things.
So Sachin, I'm going to come to you and ask you how hotels are changing into more of a destination for restaurants rather than just being, especially from a JW standpoint, how are you promoting it to be a F&B destination, not just serving your in-house guests, which also is a great opportunity?
Sachin, that's pretty debatable, right? I mean, when we open large hotels, historically, all the large hotels had a big inventory of restaurants and bars. All the large hotels had at least 2 specialty restaurants. You had at least a lounge, a bar, and maybe a cake shop or a deli, right, back in the day. And during COVID, and that was all about consistency then, and during COVID, we transitioned into kind of consolidating the entire F&B space or inventory, and then maybe converting a few which are non-profitable into event spaces. But now, again, and then Instagram happened, and a lot of things, a lot of social engineering happened in terms of how we drive restaurants to make our hotels destinations. But now I think we're in a phase where we are focusing a lot on delivering quality with consistency. Neha spoke about sustainability as well. A lot of people do look at sustainability, but it comes at a price, right? We all know the kind of infrastructure we have for sustainability in India, but not dwelling much into that. What customers or consumers want at this point in time is some kind of an experience. And experience is just not, everybody stays for 2 nights or 3 nights. They don't want to dine at the same restaurant or have a similar experience every day. So they're looking for opportunities and options within the hotel. And that's why we have this opportunity to create different restaurants, smaller ones. I mean, back in the day, we had restaurants which had 100, 120 covers. But now I think we're looking at 40 to 60 cover restaurants, which could sustain the real estate space that we have within a hotel and also deliver the kind of numbers we look at. So it gives us an opportunity to have more cuisines, offer more to our guests, and that's why create a kind of a destination, right? Every hotel we are all pretty much heavy on rooms, but F&B kind of defines the reputation of a hotel or a credibility of a hotel. That's what drives your walk-in covers. That's what drives non-residents to come and experience what kind of a hotel we are. So I think in the last couple of years, we see that opportunity coming back to us. And Rajiv is opening 3 new restaurants. I just opened one. Neha's going under renovation as well at a hotel. So all this is an intent to create destinations out of what we already have.
So what percentage of revenues in the F&B play comes from non-residents?
See, again, let me tell you, the percentages of 2024 might not be applicable in 25 because it's all rapidly changing.
But you see a surge in there?
Of course, we see a change in the kind of walk-in or non-resident or the resident capture that we have. We do see a change in that. Historically, for example, JW Marriott Mumbai Sahar had just Romanos, which is the Italian restaurant, and maybe a lounge. So everybody had to either go to the Italian restaurant or to the all-day dining to dine. But now we have come up with at least 2 new opportunities for our guests to dine, right? So that will also create opportunities for them to bring non-resident crowd to the hotel. So there is no trend in that. If I tell you that, okay, 30% is my non-resident, next month it could be 35, or next year it could be 40. We have very ambitious plans for 2026 in terms of our kind of non-resident capture we need to have at the hotel, because there's a lot of effort through our marketing and branding team to create, to establish JW Marriott Mumbai Sahar as the gateway to Mumbai. Hence, you see a lot of activity around our dining spaces as well.
So Rajiv, before I jump onto the Fairmount, you come from Delhi, and Delhi in particularly when you see the CP Circle has a very big trend of being one of the most favorite restaurants I've actually housed in hotels. So you want to speak a little about how that's continuing with new age of hotels, and also I want to check on the franchise bit that you said that are hotels really wanting restaurant franchisees to also go with the hotel franchisees? I mean, is that a trend globally, or you're seeing it in India? 2 points there.
What we are trying to do, a simple example in Fairmount, right? It's how do we bring these restaurants also into a big catering space, right? So I'll give you a simple example. We're going to have 8 restaurants within the hotel. And imagine you're doing an event in my banqueting space. I'm going to bring those 8 restaurants in your banqueting. So we are not just going to give you an experience of a banqueting, but we are going to take level up, where we are going to bring restaurant dining into a banqueting experience different. Same way as we are proud to partner with a lot of franchise events, restaurants, local entrepreneurs. Recently we had event from Ritu Dalmia to Indian Accent to all other brands were also part of our caterings what we did at the hotel. So it's about collaborating. End of the day, it's all about giving experience to the guest, right? So we will be very versatile and agile in bringing all these experiences. Why people come to a town or city, they really want to experience what locals offer. So we will position our hotel restaurants, but same time we'll take help of all what we have and give it to the world.
Great. So I'm gonna come to a point that I experienced recently. There's a chain of hotels called Banyan Tree, which Accor happens to have a small minority share, owned by a Singaporean who never opened a hotel in Singapore. I met him. I had a great time with him, and he told me one thing. He says, one of my great endeavors has been to bring pride to hotel staff, and I think that's something he's working on. And I think we at event business are very close to the hospitality industry, and we feel that. I'm going to come to the talent side of things. So as hotels, I see a big change in last 10 to 12 years. I was telling Neha from the initiative that we've started was largely to organize the independent restaurant space. And we see a huge growth there, a lot of fine dine, large investment restaurant projects are coming up. And I see a lot of talent moving in that direction. So give me a sense of what's happening on the human resource side of things when it comes to the hospitality, especially in the specialty restaurants or bars, and the kind of play that you're seeing. What kind of a talent gap or talent opportunity that you're seeing there? So Rajiv, you could start.
You know, and rightly said, otherwise a hotel or restaurant is just four walls, right? What makes it special is the people there, the trainings, the aspect of aspiration and growing. What I think so, the standalone restaurants have done very well is, end of the day, while the teams are working in these restaurants, they have a free culture, right? They have good service charge, they have end of the day pays good, flexibility of hours. We hotels are really still stiff in that aspect. We have rules and regulation and a lot in manner which outside world don't have, right? So I think so there's a learning opportunities for us hoteliers. Today the generation which is coming at the back is different what we were many years ago, right? We will work 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours, does not matter. But today's generation, they are very conscious of their lifestyle. So it's a opportunity for us as hoteliers to amend into many rules what we can.
What changes are you seeing? What changes you're bringing in terms of HR policies or?
Listen, we want to make it very flexible in how we're going to run. So one of the focus what currently I'm doing is I'm trying to bring at the hotel a lot of learnings of international exposures. Because out of 8, 4 restaurants are international from London and Dubai and other places, when there's more. Currently there are around 18 people from my team there in Dubai. So they are getting learning, and these kind of opportunities you don't get for restaurant team members to go and learn and bring it. So we're bringing also task force of many chefs coming from there. They're going to spend almost 2.5 hours, 2.5 months before we open our and launch our restaurant. So all these opportunities we are going to give. But where we have to work more, especially for us, is how do we take our service charge more up? How do we make benefits for our team much more better? Of course, the working hours, the culture of the hotel, we're trying to establish how we're going to make it better for all our colleagues.
Sachin, do you want to add something?
Just to add to what Rajiv said, it's a great thing that a lot of restaurants are opening up. It's really good for industry because we have more options to dine, and there are a lot of job opportunities. There is a lot of talent available in the market. In fact, more students are passing out of hotel schools now than they did during our time.
Colleges now.
So many colleges now. So it's a good thing. There's a lot of talent available, and so are the job opportunities, right? So that's a great thing. I think it's up. I truly believe it's totally up to the individual what they wish to choose, what they wish to do, if they wish to work at a restaurant or a hotel. Hotels are also adapting to the way restaurants work, or a standalone, or it could be a restaurant company with multiple brands, with multiple locations, how they work. So we're all learning from them as well. Marriott has something called Life on Time, where after 9 hours we kind of don't encourage anybody to work. I'm talking about the rank and file associates. And we want to expand that to other levels of management as well. But having said that, there's a lot to learn because we predominantly operated with a set structure of P&L. Food cost has to be 24, beverage has to be 25%, and this is the profitability of a restaurant. But standalones operate with a different mindset and different P&L altogether. So we're trying to learn from them, bring those best practices into how we operate our restaurants and bars. We are bifurcating F&B P&Ls to the hotel P&Ls, looking at them as separate entities or individual entities in terms of how they contribute to overall revenues or the bottom line of the hotel. So there's a lot of work being done, and I think all that's happening is very good for either hotels or even the restaurants which are opening outside hotels.
So before I come to Neha for another question, I want to stick to both of you, Neha, if you love. You want to add something to? Yeah.
I thought you wanted to ask.
Okay. I see a lot of trend globally wherein large format hotels actually outsource F&B.
Yeah.
Right? Because that is economical, and you bring in specialists. I don't know if Priyank's outlet, you have a
So we
is
do
outsourced
have, we do have quite a few restaurants which are either outsourced or collaborate or in collaboration with a particular brand or a chef. We have one at JW Marriott Aero City called Adrift. We have one there. One of our hotels in Kochi has got one from a very popular restaurateur or chef called Chef Pillai. So we call it Chef Pillai's restaurant that we have. We did try that in Goa as well. I know. As a matter of fact, we're opening 2 more restaurants in collaboration at one of our hotels in Bangalore. We always continue to. We opened one at Ritz-Carlton Bangalore as well in collaboration with another Michelin-star chef. So there's a lot of effort that is being made in either outsourcing or bringing in experts who are very good at operating restaurants, sustaining quality as well. So there's a lot of work being done. Quite a few hotels in this country, which are, from different brands of Marriott, we have outsourced or restaurants in collaboration.
So Neha, first I want to continue with anything on talent that you want to add before I ask you specifically.
You started the thing of what is change in restaurants, and we started talking about innovation, experience, tech. So that's exactly the same with talent. They need experience, innovation, and tech. So we need to deal deal with them in the same way. They need to be given experiential kind of an atmosphere when they work. They are very tax savvy, and when they come to our hotels and they see that, oh, this is so backward, they feel, oh, I don't think that I can relate to this. So I think maybe that's the reason there could be a mismatch, and that's why all of us are learning, and Sachin specifically spoke about, we are learning, and we love the fact that there are restaurant companies, and NSMO is a fantastic example what Rajiv spoke about. The entire plethora of restaurants under Paris Society, they are fantastic, and if we can get them to do franchisee restaurants in our hotels, it's a win-win for all and for the teams. The teams need stimulation. They get energy from the restaurants they work in, and sometimes in hotels we forget about that. We run it with a lot of SOPs, and then these guys may not be wanting to be working in those SOPs.
That's what the point is, which Rajiv also highlighted, because we are already seeing post-COVID a very different generation, right? And within the confines of a hotel SOPs, sometimes you find the new talent not finding that freedom or comfort. So that's a trend that you were. So coming back to the revenues, how do you really, in a hotel industry, three of you, we'll start with Neha, design P&Ls for food? It's very different from an independent restaurant because you have a clear rental, you have a clear cost of operations. How do you give us a sense how hoteliers plan their PLs when it comes to the restaurant business? And then I'll finally come to the MICE side.
For a very long time, we've only concentrated a lot on food cost, beverage cost, and the manpower cost of our restaurants, and the other things we've taken for granted because it's all part of the hotel. Your HLP, you're not paying separately for the land, you're not paying separately any rent, you're not accounting. Till our P&Ls, we're not even accounting for depreciation, or we just go till a GOP perspective, and which I think is something which is changing. We are going more in depth into the fact that if we were to run a restaurant like an independent entrepreneur, what is it that we are bringing to the table, or we paying out of our pockets? So that's a mindset change that is happening, and there's a lot of emphasis on something called, we talk about RevPAR, revenue per available room, but I think a lot of us in hospitality and restaurants have started talking about RevPAS, revenue per available seat. If I have 100 seats, how many times am I filling it? And some of the restaurants outside are doing it brilliantly. I went to a restaurant in BKC last weekend. They made me get up at 9:45 because the slot was for a particular time. And I was ready to pay for the next drink, and I had to cancel it because my slot was only for 1.5 hours. So I think a lot of focus is going on revenue per available seat. Have we reached that in our hotels yet? No, because we've not really, it's changing, but we've not taken restaurants or food and beverage as a revenue generator, focusing on the overall top line, but now we are.
So I'll continue with you. Today we are talking about delivery, cloud kitchen. Any of that's also playing out, especially with BKC having so much of competition from the independent restaurant. Everybody's dream is to be in BKC, every restaurateurs.
So I think what happened during COVID and the hybrid models that we all went to, I think that's going on.
It's going to.
Is it sustainable? It will, but is it been at the same level as what it was? Maybe now. Maybe the advent of cloud kitchens is something which is something which has taken on in terms of the deliveries and what you're talking about. But that's something that is there. But we've also evolved from that. It runs parallelly. It is a revenue churner which is over and above of what we are doing.
And you work with Zomato's, Swiggy's as well?
Yes, we do.
Me too.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
That's
They're a
fun.
good evil or a bad evil. We can discuss this in a later forum, but yeah, we do work with them.
No, that's very interesting. I think Neha added. Sachin, you want to add on the PL of restaurants and.
I think Neha said it all, but like I said a while ago, we always were pretty good at looking at the revenue generated from each of our restaurants or bars or lounges, but we never did the P&L as much as we do now. Currently, we have separate P&Ls for each of our restaurants. We look at the profitability separately. We look at the productivity. The only thing that we don't factor in is the rental and HLP, like she said, because we operate out of a hotel and not a standalone space. But we're getting a little bit more entrepreneurial in our mindset in terms of how we operate our restaurants and generate revenues from our restaurants, because we don't want the seats to be empty. We all look at restaurant occupancy or RevPAS that she said, but restaurant occupancy is one of the metrics that we measure, and we do have targets around it in terms of how much a restaurant should be occupied for each meal period, and we are judged by, that's a part of our measurement tool.
So when you do your GM audits, you actually look at those numbers on a
Right,
regular
we
basis?
do look at restaurant occupancy as one of our metrics for success, and we don't look at breakfast because breakfast is given, and everybody at least 90% of the guests by default eat
And with
breakfast.
Marriott, Bonvoy, I think
Right.
everything
So,
comes complimentary.
irrespective of the hotel or chain or the brand, everybody eats breakfast. Most of our room rates are inclusive of breakfast, so we don't look at that. But the rest of the meal periods, lunches and dinners is when we actually start tracking the occupancy of the restaurant. And some specialty restaurants operate they have 2 seating slots per meal period, some don't. So there is a science to the whole measurement of how the occupancy is derived. That's one. But going back to your question, yes, we do have we do have a mechanism where we start tracking the productivity of each restaurant individually. That also helps us in driving a manning structure as well, in terms of how much payroll should go into each of these spaces. The advantage of hotels is, we do have shared resources. So if a particular restaurant gets busy, we can pull talent out of another restaurant.
So it's not as concise as maybe an independent restaurant, but still very much there.
It is,
Great.
right? So we have that advantage, but we do have a tool to start measuring our productivity a lot more better than what we did in the past.
Yeah. Rajiv, I'm going to come to the creative side of the food business. So how do you balance between food innovation and food engineering, or as we call it, pricing, what goes in terms of ensuring that there's value for customer while within the confines of a luxury experiences. So how in depth it goes in terms of designing the whole menu, so to say.
I'll give you a couple of examples, right? We got a beautiful bar at the Fairmont by the name of Hednest. Hednest means a person with pleasures. And when we were designing this bar and we were talking about what beverages we should do, what cocktails we should do, we were thinking a lot on what clientele we want to get and what price levels. So I took a decision, we will not serve brands of Shiva's 12 or Black Label or any of these kinds in my bar. It has to be a 15 and above, and that positions the bar in the right set of clientele. But now how do we give it valuable, right? So what we did to make it interesting, we sell Shiva's 15 at the cost of 12, we sell 18 at the cost of 15, and we sell 21 at the cost of 18. So we are we're giving value to the customer, taking the positioning up, revenues are up, and so that was the mindset we did. Same thing for banqueting, right? I didn't want to have anything in the positioning of hotel. So Give you example, right? The whole city is selling banqueting at, let's say, dinners at 4,000, 3,800, maybe 5,000. We don't sell our banqueting less than 7,000. But then we go and give value to the customers of a 10,000 rupees from a food perspective, whatever we want to do. So that its perception gets the value and they make more loyalty.
I'm actually not liking this answer because I'm on the other side and I know how during COVID, JW, I've never done business with Fairmount, I've done a fair amount of business with JWs and I know what the pricing has happened in last 5 years. Every year my numbers are going difficult and that's generally with the food business and the hotel business, so you have your own cost to match. So coming to the banqueting, that's a very large play and we see a phenomenal growth. I mean, somebody was saying the business I'm in, which is corporate events, we've had a 129% growth year on year. I mean, that's amazing. Governments are doing events, corporates are doing events, and same as with wedding. I think wedding has also, I remember it was Accor or probably Marriott, which was doing a complete wedding solution kind of a vertical, right? So you also have it with Accor? It was Marriott, Shadi by Marriott. So how's that playing out for three of you?
I come from Fairmont, Jaipur, and I was GM for 5 years. And every year we used to do over 100 plus destination weddings. And I promise you, give me another year, what we are doing at the Fairmont, we are making another international destination of weddings in Mumbai. Mumbai is not considered at all for destination weddings.
Absolutely.
We're going to change the game space. I was telling my friends, 2 days ago we opened the first rooftop banqueting in Mumbai, which can accommodate 550 people. And it's the first rooftop in India which is totally air conditioned. So just imagine under the stars, in whatever weather, you have these people enjoying, right? It does not exist on India. At Fairmont, we got 75,000 square feet of banqueting. We got the biggest and the most innovative ballroom in any 5-star hotel in the country. Give you a simple example, 21,000 square feet can accommodate 2,200 people. And on the ceiling, we have 120 rigging points. Each rigging point can take 101 ton of load. So same ballroom, I can hang 6 cars. We can do fashion shows. We can do wedding. We can do mice. Like an aeroplane, when aeroplane lands, an air hostess comes with a empty garbage bag to collect your trash, right? The main reason of that is because airlines want to rotate the plane faster. They don't want it to be stuck to the airport. Otherwise, they pay more fees. The more it's in the air, the more we make money. Same as our ballrooms. No owner makes a ballroom to sell 50% occupancy, right? We've been very cautious as hoteliers. We talk about RevPAR, we talk about occupancies, rooms. Nobody talks much about the banquet occupancies. At Fairmont, we have done systems. How can I rotate my ballroom faster? So I'll give you example. Last week we had a birthday party of somebody, 50th party. It was till 2 in the morning, and I had 9 o'clock a conference. I had 200 people. We rotated this, and from a wedding setup or a birthday setup to a conference 9 o'clock, we made it happen. Reason being, we can do 360 degree of LED screens at the Fairmont within 4 hours. So we are looking into that conscious levels, not only how to serve guests, but how to rotate our ballroom and banqueting faster, so we all can generate more money.
So this week itself, I was at St. Regis in Singapore, and most of the hotels in Singapore now have LED. JW in Singapore has a LED built in, very nice location. Same with St. Regis. Most of them are doing it because I think this is bang on, because as an operator, you end up taking an additional day, which kind of makes it at times unviable for us to even operate. I mean, same is with social also, because nobody wants to sort of spend that money. So that's an interesting point. So what kind of from a forecast, what kind of a percentage of MICE revenue, or let's not call it MICE revenue, banquet revenue, you see in the overall P&L?
If you see, Fairmont is going to change where Andheri stands. We are very lucky. We got 3,000 rooms around us. I was sharing, Adani is going to make a big convention center there. There's the biggest metro station coming. What happened to Delhi 20 years ago? Everybody used to go to CP. Now everybody goes to AeroCity in Delhi. Give Mumbai 5 more years, nobody is going to go south for doing big events. They all are going to come to AeroCity, which is us at Andheri. There's a convention coming. There are 3,000 rooms. Now, when I do a big event of 2,000 people, we all fill together. We between both of us, we've done at least 2-3 top weddings. When one event is happening at Fairmont, one happens at the JW grounds or Elida grounds. So we're going to collaborate a lot. What my vision is, when I am going out, I'm not just selling weddings, Fairmont, I'm selling Andheri. And I tell to top corporates, top event planners, we did a ICWF recently at the Fairmont. We had 800 event planners from around the country. What my pitch to them is, all the international global conferences, they go to Hyderabad, Delhi or out of India, but does not come to Mumbai. Jio does a great job, but Jio has only 2 hotels. With us, we have 3,000 rooms and a ballroom of capacity of 2,000 people. So when I fill 2,000 people, we bring the whole area up. And we have all sort of hotels there, right? We've got a Novotel, we've got a Aurika, we've got ITC, Hyatt, Leela, Lalit, JW. So it's a great, sub-region itself to bring banqueting to a different level.
I mean, just look at us. I mean, we are sitting here. I'm a Marriott loyalist. So there's virtually nothing I can find around here. And I was telling Neha that, when Global FinTech Festival happens, and there are a bunch of other events I think Jio is hosting, which actually there's no hotel facility in and around here. And that's what happens with hotels like Marina Bay Sands and others. Because they are anchors, so they actually work with the tourism board or MICE industry to bring in a kind of consolidated opportunity for a consumer. So, Sachin, you want to add something on MICE? Then we ask Neha.
I think, just to add to, I just want to summarize whatever Rajiv also said, right? So I think in the last 15 years, we've had a lot of MICE destinations in the country. The first one being HICC back in the day in Hyderabad. It all started from there with high-techs, and then we moved to different destinations. The country, it used to be Pragati Maidan, then HICC, now AeroCity. We have a lot of large conventions happening at Grand Hyatt in Bolgati, in Kochi. Bangalore being a big MICE destination for large format events. Then we created South Bombay, then we had Nesco, and eventually Jio came up. A lot of conventions moved to this part of the world. Now Andheri is going to be another such destination or an opportunity for large format MICE events. But the country is also evolving. There are a lot of such destinations coming up. So what I'm trying to say here is we're creating more opportunities, more destinations, giving more options to our guests, and most of our brands or multiple companies are present in most of these locations, right? Be it Hyatt or Marriott or any other company. So it gives the planner many opportunities or options to plan their events. And over a period of time, I think, each of us benefit from the traction we get in terms of MICE. And banquets is an ever-growing business. Every year, I mean, if not double digits, we all grow in upwards of 5% in terms of how our banquet revenues are. But the key is to stay consistent, because you don't want any kind of a technology or AI intervention or anything that, you want basic food, hot food. If we deliver the basics, if we ensure that we stay true to the cuisine and the taste of food, we can always deliver.
Your property is most difficult to get for me, at least. That's how historically been, because of it's
Sachin, we have the same name. Now that we know each other, we'll talk.
No, I'm just saying
We'll
it's a
make
good
it easier.
thing. It's a good thing, because most of the time it's non-available. So what revenue comes from non-MICE, which is wedding? Social. How much is social for you, and how much is corporate?
I think socials, by design, do we want to take social events or no, it's up to the hotel, right? And
so you prefer social, or?
So we do prefer, we prefer every kind of business that comes away, but how much of it we prefer is up to us, right? So if from the total banqueting revenue at this point in time, my social revenues could be close to about 25 to 30%.
So it's got
And
to
maybe
grow.
I would like to take it up to about 40% in 2026.
Oh, you want
Right? So the focus would be on getting those many number of events. But it's a conscious call that we also take because each business or each segment comes at a different ADR or, it contributes differently to the total hotel revenue. So we cap it at a certain number, but we always see growth in it. Next year we're forecasting to grow about 10 to 12% only with our social business, which has been pretty muted over the last few years, again because of, airport was never considered to be a wedding destination. But we want to confine ourselves to the weddings that matter and maybe get to a 35 to 40% eventually.
Interesting. Neha, what change you've seen after Jio coming in and your closing remarks? Where I've been told that my time's up.
I think Jio, from putting India on the map and putting all our hotels as on the map, plays a very important role. I think the kind of infrastructure they've created is state of the art. There is absolutely no doubts about it. And it has given avenues for creating events. If you've said that you yourself are doing 112% more, means you have more places to do experiential events or create and go to different micro markets. So for hotels like us who are in very high corporate destinations, who are Monday to Friday hotels, a business or a standing like a Jio helps us very nicely to cover during our weekends. An event like this or the kind of international artists who come, which makes sure that our hotels are in demand every day of the week. We are not, we are not only talking about weekday and weekend day business. So it's a 365 days business that we are talking. But in that way, while we have the space, while we have the hotel, I do feel as a country, as a tourism sector, we need to come together. He's trying to make Andheri a destination. We are trying to make DKC a destination, a Bangalore. But I think ease of doing business is something that needs to come together from the tourism industry with the various levers, whether your airlines, whether your different licensing authorities, the entire plethora of musical licenses, all of these also add to banqueting events, and so ease of doing business needs to also come along with facilities like like us.
Very valid point. That's all from my side. I think it's been a learning experience. This is the first panel I've ever been part of from a hotelier standpoint. So I think a round of applause for our panelists, and thank you very much for your time, friends.